Hold on now. Was Tamar Braxton indeed drowning in her own blood when she woke up? Like Tic Tac's teeth were strewn all over the floor, and the internet was gripping its pearls due to a broken nose. Or was this just another failed Hollywood gimmick? Or perhaps it was staged flawlessly. The drama queen herself might have done the ultimate publicity stunt instead of simply dragging herself into the mess. Darling, what if I told you that? Mendeecees' name was pulled along for the adventure. Let's be honest. Pray for me is really code for keep watching, Tamar says. I'm cooking something. Did she cook too? Everyone blamed Mendeecees' funky Denva, the bartender. And even the DJ from the event for the mystery, injuries, cryptic social media posts, and a loud hush celebration. The truth, however, was juicier than the drama after the smoke cleared. Therefore, fasten your seatbelts because we will be dissecting Tamar's alleged near-death experience tonight. Was there a tragedy? Was there any manipulation? Or was it simply Tamar being herself, the family baby, the attention seeker, and now the focus of her own scandal? This cup is full of tea, so grab some. The streets are talking, sweetheart, and the tea is hot, so let's get right in. The self-described last original diva standing, Tamar Braxton, once again succeeded in transforming a typical Tuesday night into a tabloid frenzy. And believe me when I say that this is not the first time and most definitely won't be the last. This is the setup then. According to Tamar, she almost died in an unexplained accident. It was a crazy story. A missing pool of blood teeth. And a nose that was so badly shattered that people were searching for the recuperation time for reconstructive surgery online. She shared photographs meant to make you gasp, weak voice admissions, and mysterious notes. And it was successful. People jumped into prayer circles right away. Additionally, the internet was prepared to deliver casseroles, flowers, and GoFundMe messages. However, this is when things become really nasty. Tamar conveniently omitted one small, inconspicuous detail while whispering from her hospital bed that she nearly died. All of it was promotional. Yes, exactly. Our sister wasn't fighting to survive. She was fighting for views because a few days later, a music video and marketing for her brand new EP were released. Now, you may be wondering, the kicker is this. Okay, fine. Maybe she exaggerated. Celebrities do it all the time. She pulled others along with her. Not just anybody anyway. Mendy Harris was dragged into a small carnival of public relations. Mendeecees isn't simply a random extra from a VH1 repeat, in case you were unaware. He has a whole file of controversies of his own. Mendy is no stranger to controversy, with claims of business fraud, drama, cheating, accusations, love and hip-hop, and a prison sentence that might fill its own dossier. And when she paired his name with hers the following day, she knew exactly what she was doing. Because you immediately quadruple the buzz when you associate yourself with someone whose past screams headline. Consider it. Tamar is gifted. No one disputes that. On a church wall, the girl can sing the paint off. However, controversy pays better than talent. Additionally, she relies on chaos as if it were a family treasure, rather than relying just on her vocals. We've seen this pattern previously, so go back a little. Do you recall Tamar and her sister's argument about Braxton family values? The altercations, the sobs, and the dramatic breaks during filming. As if she were Bianca Destiny's Child, Tamar would leave at the end of each season. Or how about when she and Candy Boris got into a public argument and she was accused of side-eyeing while on tour? Not to mention her outburst on reality TV, in which she accused producers of trying to harm her. Sis has a habit of turning ordinary events into soap opera stories that have won awards. You guys are shocked when she abruptly shows up on Instagram and talks about how she nearly died. People couldn't decide whether to grab popcorn or pray. There were some fans who were truly concerned. While she kept everyone guessing, Mendy's name began to circulate in the rumor mill. Others said, "Girl, not again." Was he there that night? Did something happen between them? Was this some messy entanglement gone wrong? Others started to ask, and this is where things start to get absurd. In her promotional film, Tamar appeared to be in perfect health. Mendy sees himself with his face beaten, hair laid back and teeth intact. Yes, the internet went crazy when this man put his arm around me and I said, "I need prayer warriors to catch me in 4,000. Comment sections were exploding. Hold on, didn't she just pass away last week? She is now featured in a music video. Mendeecees in the same way as Yandy's spouse does. What's happening?" Thus, the shattered nose, the teeth, and the blood are all promotional. At that point, people began to piece things together. Tamar had committed the ultimate deception. She let the story of how she was harmed get out of hand. Allow fans to accuse individuals such as Mendeecees of involvement. Then utilize that particular pandemonium to increase interest in her EP. Let's take a moment. Now, since this is not only dubious, but also harmful, it's not only messy, it's hazardous to jeopardize your safety, health, and other people's reputations in order to get clicks and streams. Mendy, whose name is already associated with a number of ugly accusations and VH1 controversies, now has to contend with rumors that he may have been involved in Tamar's fate. And once your name is associated with drama, you are aware of how the internet operates. It never truly goes away. The investigative team comes into play here. According to unnamed people familiar with the matter, Tamar was messaging friends the same evening while allegedly too weak to speak. In order to plan out her wounded look in case images leaked, she allegedly asked for contacts to cosmetic specialists. Weeks before the accident ever occurred, according to another insider, she had already scheduled the Mendy video shoot. This implies that the entire scene in the bloodied bathtub may have been staged. Yes, people, it's possible that we are facing a true crisis actor scenario. The Oscar-worthy star of her own made-up visit is Tamar Braxton. And Mendy discovers that he co-starred in the stunt, whether he realized it or not. Consider the arrogance. Tony and Trina, Tamar's sisters, have long claimed that she thrives on attention. As the family's infant, she is pampered, adored, and constantly yearns for attention. And with this little drama, she essentially reinforced it rather than disproving them. Fans, meanwhile, are split. Tamar is considered a genius by some. That's what promotion is all about. She kept us talking. Others claim that this is terrible and manipulative and that she should apologize to Mendeecees and her supporters. But the point is obvious no matter where you stand. Personal injury became a commercial technique thanks to Tamar Braxton. Furthermore, we shouldn't be shocked when Mendy gets pulled in. In the mess department, this individual is already well known. Compared to Tyler Perry, he and Yandy Smith have seen more public splits, makeup changes, and cheating allegations. Script Tamer is aware that people will pay attention when she incorporates his name into her story. Viral gold is the result of scandalous times. Here's the real kicker, though. According to reports, Mendy was taken by surprise while Tamar was soaking up compassion points. According to sources, he was unaware that his role in the music video would be linked to Tamar's story of the bloody bathtub. Imagine showing up at a gig expecting to be cast as the antagonist in someone's fictitious crime thriller. I don't know what betrayal is if that isn't it. What does this leave us with then? With a new EP, Tamar Braxton is doing well. Throughout the week, there was constant discussion regarding her name and injuries. However, Mendy finds himself having to rebuild his reputation. And you all understand how this is effective. You are presumed guilty unless proven innocent if you are accused in a court of public opinion. Tamar's stunt pulled Mendeecees back into the circus, despite his efforts to rebrand, distance himself from the turmoil, and live his best adult life. The question now becomes, was Tamar incredibly intelligent, devious, or desperate? Because even though the prank was careless, it got everyone talking, and in the entertainment industry, that's all that matters, right? The true currency is attention, and it will pay out handsomely tomorrow. Don't feel too comfortable, though, because if you felt that the setup was disorganized, you should wait to hear what transpired next. Because the scandal only grew more intense, baby, as well as the consequences. It was nuclear. Okay, now that the scene has been set for Braxton's dramatic stunt tomorrow, let's tear it apart and examine the wreckage in greater detail. You haven't even seen the intermission snacks yet, honey. If you thought Tamar's bathtub moment was the high point, the receipts begin to appear at this point. The public begins to react as though they are witnessing a telenovela season finale as the anonymous sources begin to whisper. Let's start with those alleged injuries. Recall Tamar's Instagram post in which she claimed to have suffered a nose fracture, lost teeth, and almost fainted from blood loss. Hospital reports that had been leaked began to circulate online. However, none of them were compatible. According to one report, Tamar was hospitalized due to significant face injuries. According to another, she received treatment for dehydration and fatigue. And yet another supposedly had her listed as an outpatient cosmetic consultation at a facility in Beverly Hills. 3 reports, 3 storylines that couldn't be more different. Which is accurate? Warning. Fans didn't care about the fine print, but probably none of them did. The drama was important to them. After quips like this, feels like Jessie Smollett too became viral on Twitter. She quickly went from ICU to iTunes. And not the acronym for Extended Release EP, which is the most brutal of them. And tomorrow was oddly silent, which only served to fuel the fire while the jokes were flying. Because people assume the worst when you disappear from social media after throwing such a bomb. Then there were rumors of money. Several insiders began to inform gossip blogs that Tamar had been squandering money in an attempt to make a comeback. She allegedly spent 4 behind-the-scenes photos. She spent thousands on luxury cars, rented sets, and even hired makeup artists to make her phony wounds appear authentic. According to one insider, the day following the alleged accident, Tamar had a makeup artist deliver bruise kits and prosthetic teeth to her home. They claimed that although she claimed to want to envision her suffering, she was actually practicing her lying. This wasn't even subtle, you know? On the day when admirers thought she was recuperating in bed, a paparazzi photo was taken of her shopping on Rodeo Drive tomorrow. She was drinking an iced tea, sporting fashionable shades, and her face was flawless. The Mendeecees storyline continued to stew in the meantime. The name of this man is already a liability. For years, he and Yandandi Smith have been dealing with accusations of adultery. Fans therefore assumed something illicit was going on when Tamar chose him to be her leading guy. Brewing was Tamar, suggesting that Mendeecees had something to do with her mishap. Was Yandi the target of a subtle jab? Or was she merely enhancing her own story with his already contentious reputation? Whatever the motivation, it was successful. Headlines like Tamar and Mendeecees secret scandal and Yandandi silent as husband linked to Tamar's mystery injuries were all over blogs. The internet detectives couldn't help themselves, of course. People on social media began examining Tamar's posts in great detail, comparing her clothing, scrutinizing her timestamps, and creating whole conspiracy theories. Tamar's injured photographs were shot in the same bathroom where she had taped a cosmetics tutorial just days prior, according to one TikTok that went viral. There was only a white sheet and dramatic lighting in her purported hospital selfie, with no fur line or monitors, according to another Twitter detective. Then the bombshell was dropped. The same week that she was reported to be too weak to speak, a fan discovered behind-the-scenes footage from her next music video shoot, in which she can be seen laughing, spinning on a chair, and joking with Mendy. The Shonda and Rhimes pilot episode was in full swing. The retaliation was severe and fast. Not tomorrow turning funky into her fall guy Tamar. This is evil work. Tamar. Funky Deneva himself took to Instagram Live to say, "You guys ate me alive over this nonsense. I was accused of not protecting Tamar, of being a bad friend, and of being complicit in her little drama. And now, come to find out, it was all a damn lie. I was collateral damage in a 2-bit PR stunt. Tamar, you owe me and everybody else an apology." Mendeecees remained relatively silent. But that didn't stop the memes. One of them included him photoshopped into a CSI cover with the text, "Mendy is innocent until tomorrow, says otherwise. Straight nasty girl. If you wanted us to stream the EP, you should have just asked." Another featured Yandi giving Tamar the side-eye while texting, "Don't mention my husband in your promotion." However, the situation began to raise serious questions. Some critics pointed out the moral angle, asking, what does it say about Tamar if she's willing to exploit sympathies, hospital imagery, and even drag Mendeecees' reputation through the mud just to sell an album? Others argued that Tamar's stunt could be considered fraudulent. Promotion if she intentionally spread false medical claims to manipulate fans? Anonymous industry chatter suggested that some sponsors and partners were reconsidering their decision. Their partnerships. According to a label executive, Tamar's talent is indisputable, but her antics are tiresome. There is a circus with every rollout. Companies do not like to be linked to such instability. As if that weren't enough, there were whispers that Yandhi Smith was furious. According to one gossip blog, Yandhi allegedly went up to Tamar in private and demanded to know why her husband's name was associated with the commotion. No receipts yet, of course, but the drama continued to simmer just from the murmurs. What does all of this mean, then? Tamar follows a routine. Music comes second, chaos first. The public is now aware of what her sisters and friends have said. Walking off TV sets, arguing with co-stars, or creating her own near-death experience for photos are just a few examples of Tamar's. The playbook remains unchanged. Attention equals streams, and controversy equals attention. But since each act erodes credibility, how long can you play that game until it backfires? Even ardent followers grow weary of crying wolf after a while. Though fans may forgive once or twice, and poor Mendy finds out if he was caught in the crossfire, a complicit party or a fool. He didn't ask for this disaster to be associated with his name. His endeavor to reposition himself as an adult, responsible businessman and emerge from the shadow of love and hip-hop. Poof! Lost. He was yanked back into the swamp by Tamar. You would think Tamar would at least clarify the story, make a comment and stand up for her alleged friends. But she didn't. Once more, there was radio silence, leaving the rest of the world to pick up the pieces. The internet is now requesting answers. Was Tamar really hurt? Was Mendeecees used as a fall guy? Did Tamar orchestrate this whole mess merely to boost the virality of her EP launch? Hold on tight, for the repercussions were far worse than the breakdown itself. We're discussing industrial blacklisting, legal threats, and rumors of government investigations. Yes, sweetheart. The story becomes more complex. This is where the drama really gets out of hand. Because tomorrow was more than simply fans clowning once the smoke passed. The sector itself was honing its blades. There is a limit to how many times you can use the sympathy card before people quit buying it. Tamar may have just used up all of her credit, sweetie. You see, following the alleged hospital disaster, rumors began to become official reports and purported insider. One of her sponsor brands stated that they were reevaluating their cooperation and contract. In other words, they didn't want to be linked to someone who staged ailments for clout. Even tougher was another purported label executive. She's wrong if she believes that bleeding selfies are equivalent to billboard numbers. It's not love and war tomorrow in 2013. This is a liability for PR. However, it didn't end there. Attorneys began to circle. There were rumors that several fans were thinking about filing a lawsuit, particularly those who contributed to Tamar's Get Well's GoFundMe page. Indeed, during the stunt, she received money from people who thought she was hurt and in need of assistance. Imagine learning that your money was used exclusively for lighting and wig styling for a music video production. Soon after the betrayal, rumors of a class action lawsuit began to circulate on gossip blogs. The government angle followed. If Tamar fabricated a medical emergency to get money, could she be charged with fraud? Lawyers on the internet were ready to guess. Rumors about Tamar being the subject of an investigation went viral on Twitter. The concept alone was enough to cause followers to distrust it, even if it never made it that far. No one wants to stream music from a performer they believe is defrauding their fans. Mendeecees, meanwhile, was still frantically trying to clear his name. The man essentially said, "I don't know why my name is in this. I don't know why my face is in this. But you guys need to leave me out of it." On Instagram stories, he was half defensive and half perplexed. His voice was quite clear. He was exhausted, frustrated, and perhaps a bit embarrassed that he let Tamar draw him into her insanity. People whispered he had something to do with Tamar's injuries. Imagine your kids Googling your name and the top result is a headline linking you to Tamar Braxton's bloody bathtub scene. It's not a good look. Its birthday weekend, which was supposed to be a time for celebration, instead became a PR nightmare. Yan Dandy few fans claim to have. Seen subliminals in her posts. She talks about keeping your peace from poisonous people on Instagram one day. She posts a mysterious prayer about snakes in the grass the next day. Although she never mentioned Tamar by name, the timing convinced many. The comment sections were exploding. Yan Dandy is disparaging Tamar. Blink twice, sis. If you're sick of Tamar's bullshit, and the story stuck. Tomorrow had officially ruined another bridge, whether it was true or not. Now, the public nature and the sciences of this fallout set it apart from Tamar's other troubles. Before, the headlines would fade after a week if she stormed off a set, made fun of a co-star, or clapped back at a fan. This time, however, she created a whole crime scene. It had fictitious blood, injuries, and hospital trips, as well as the names of other persons. That's not merely disorganized. It's deliberate. People also remember this type of deception. Even her relatives. Rumor had it that the Braxtons felt ashamed. According to a purported insider, Toni Braxton completely distanced herself from the controversy and didn't want any part of it. According to reports, Tawanda confided in acquaintances that she was sick of cleaning up Tamar's trash. Additionally, according to one gossip website, Trina directly referred to Tamar's actions as a threat to the family brand. Whether or not such quotes are accurate, they clearly depicted a situation. Tamar was losing allies in addition to fans. The internet is also cruel. Before Tamar could remove her mysterious tweets, memes were starting to appear. Another post that went popular featured an image of a vacant hospital bed with the phrase, "reserved for Tamars." Another post said, "Tamar is faking injuries for streams as the new pyramid scheme." Single rollout after that. They stuck even if the joke hurt. Furthermore, it's nearly impossible to be taken seriously again after you've been turned into a meme. Tamar could have easily avoided all of this, which is what's crazy. She had the option to rely on her genuine talent, personality, singing, and legacy from reality TV. However, she betting that pandemonium equals money. They increased their stake in shock value. And that might have worked for a second. In the days following the stunt, her EP streams reportedly increased. Here's the catch, though. Clicks in the short term do not equate to sustained loyalty. Although fans may tune in out of interest, would they remain after feeling duped? The million-dollar question is that. The repercussions extended beyond sponsors and fans. According to reports, industry insiders started to distance themselves. Allegedly, producers withdrew from partnerships. Tamar's staff was rushing to reschedule canceled appearances because businesses didn't want to handle the PR fallout, according to one event planner. You can't avoid that type of fallout by apologizing live on Instagram. In addition, Tamar has yet to offer an apology. No in-person interview, no emotional justification. No, I was experiencing it. Nothing, to be honest. The feed itself is nearly as loud as the quiet. Fans have been waiting for her to reveal what Mendeecees. But all they have received is more confusion, quiet, and cryptic posts. Some claim it's cowardice, while others think it's part of her plan to maintain the tension and get people talking. You should have the courage to face the consequences if you can fabricate a scandal. Perhaps, though, Tamar isn't interested in accepting the consequences. Perhaps all she wants is to remain in the news no matter what. Because, in the end, Tamar is a drama queen. She would be simply another gifted vocalist in a crowded market without it. With it, she becomes the topic of discussion, the week's most popular meme, and the headline that goes viral. Attention may be the true currency of the future. She also believes that she is still wealthy, doso. What's left of that? Mendy sees his cave of fame. His name was associated with a circus for which he did not purchase tickets. Where does Yan Dandy end up? wishing her husband's name didn't become popular for all the wrong reasons, while shaking her head in the background. What does that mean for Tamar? Perhaps more renowned than ever, she was standing in the midst of a disaster she made. But at what price? Because controversies burn off, attention wanes, and when the smoke clears, relationships, credibility, and reputations are all that remain. But perhaps that's the whole idea. As long as the focus remains, perhaps Tamar doesn't care who is harmed in the process. On her. Additionally, it's possible that this won't be her final stunt. Because if history is any indication, Tamar Braxton will always manage to transform her private drama into entertainment for the general audience. She has precisely what she wanted: your attention, regardless of whether you love her, loathe her, or simply can't take your eyes off of her. How long can tomorrow continue to play this game until the industry says enough? That is the question now. How many additional family members, friends, and partners are there? Before she understands that chaos isn't a good professional plan, will she lose? It's a scheme for self-destruction cloaked in hashtags and glitter. And before they conclude that the music isn't worth the deception, how many times will they allow her to act like a phony? Because Tamar Braxton is currently revealing not only herself, but also the unpleasant realities of celebrity culture. In a world some people will stop at nothing to remain relevant, in a world where cloud computing is king. Even if it means staging their own demise. Folks, there you have it. Talented, dramatic, erratic. And perhaps the master of doing an absurd prank that makes us all doubt reality is Tamar Braxton. Was she indeed on the verge of passing away? Or was this only a well-executed soap drama to promote a stale EP and discredit Mendy? In any case, the fact is that Tamar has a knack for getting us to talk. And since we just gave her the attention she desired, she's most likely grinning someplace tonight. I want to hear from you now, though. Do you believe that Tamar's alleged near-death experience was a genuine call for assistance? Or had it all been a glitzy publicity ploy? Was it inappropriate of her to bring Mendy into her mess? Or is this just another day in the circus of trying to gain influence from celebrities? Above all, are you and Tamar still having a great time together? Or has she lost you for good at last? I promise you that this argument is going to get messy. So please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't be shy. I've read everything, and as you are already aware, I will return with some scathing observations of my own. Do the 3 things that Tamar wishes she could fake before you click away. To ensure you don't miss a drop of this sloppy, juicy tea, hit the like button. Subscribe and notification bell. For if Braxton has demonstrated anything, it is that scandals never end. And you can be sure that we'll be here to explain everything. As always, thank you. Stay stealthy and stay tuned. Observing.